My experience was having my father in prison growing up. So when I was in kindergarten, my father went to court and then spent a 5-year prison sentence and was home for about 18 months and then went to prison again for 8 years. So effectively he was away sort of from the time of kindergarten to my early 20s. I think the emotional impact was that my father went away and there was a lot of trauma for both of my parents, and at an early age not understanding what that trauma was or why he was away. And certainly the impact also was that I went to prison every weekend for a large part of my childhood and sort of into my late teens. The impact of that is not spending weekends with your friends or with other family and spending weekend in prison, which is I guess not a normal sort of weekend as a child, and that's something that you can't discuss. It meant having a secret, so it meant going to jail every weekend to see my father, but not being able to talk about that, having to come up with excuses for why I couldn't do things on the weekend. And also during the week my father would call, and that caused some anxiety for my mother, so we had to be home in time for his calls. So there was sort of quite a lot of time restriction and anxiety around that. It's extremely important to have effective mentors who are outside the family. There were many things that I suppose I couldn't speak about with my mother. Maybe I was hurt or confused or angry with her or with my father around the situation. So having somebody outside the family who was able to provide that support was very important. It allowed me to express my emotions about it without worrying or feeling guilt that I'd hurt either parent by being open and discussing. In my situation, saying I needed help would have required me coming out and saying I've got a father in jail. There are aspects of that I'm not managing, or that I find very stressful. So it's a very big step to come out and to face the stigma that you sometimes encounter in being a child who has a parent in jail. And I think it's important to speak about it, and certainly to address the issue that a child has no responsibility for their parents' actions or behaviour that resulted in them being in jail. It's so important to have an organisation like Shine for Kids because it gives young people and families access to families who are having a similar experience. So it's very powerful in a positive way to be able to be in an environment where you can speak openly about a situation that you can't speak about to your school friends or perhaps to other people. So to be in an environment where you can speak to people who understand what you're going through, it's very powerful to be able to let go of the anxiety or the stigma and just be open and communicate. Greater corporate support is essential because government support can only do so much, and if the program isn't funded to be able to fulfil all of their goals, then corporate sponsorship can certainly bridge that gap.